It was just another Friday night in Asheville, North Carolina. The streets were busy, lights flickered from restaurants, music spilled into the warm air. 26-year-old Lily Anderson went on a first date. She told her roommate she'd be home by 11, but she never returned. Cameras captured her walking to the car, laughing, smiling. Everything seemed normal. Everything seemed safe. Her phone stopped transmitting at 9:27 p.m. Cell towers placed her near a wooded overlook outside the city, not near her apartment. The man she met, Aaron Blake, didn't exist. His name was fake. His social security number belonged to a deceased child. His dating profile was created to lure. He was patient, careful, charismatic, meticulous. Over the next weeks, investigators discovered a terrifying pattern. Prepaid cars, synthetic identities, first dates, camera blind spots. Women across multiple states reported encounters with men just like him. Lily's purse was found months later, her keys and ID there, but she was gone, her phone missing. Somewhere he had planned every detail, every route, every step, every question. And tonight, we'll follow the chilling trail of a man who hides in plain sight, preys under the guise of charm, and leaves only fear in his wake. This is the disappearance of Lily Anderson, a first date that became a nightmare, and a predator whose true identity remains unknown. On August 18, 2017, 26-year-old Lily Anderson went on a first date. It was a Friday night in Asheville, North Carolina. Warm air, busy downtown streets, music spilling from restaurants. Nothing unusual. Lily told her roommate she would be home by 11. She never came back. Her date's name was Aaron Blake. They had matched on a dating app 2 weeks earlier. His profile was simple. One photo, minimal bio, no social media linked. But he seemed polite, attentive, normal. Security footage showed Lily meeting Aaron outside a wine bar at 7:12 p.m. They hugged. They went inside. They laughed. Nothing appeared forced. At 9:03 p.m., they left together. At 9:11 p.m., Lily sent her roommate a text. "He's nice. Might stay out a bit later." That was the last message she ever sent. Aaron claimed they walked to his car, talked for a while, and then he dropped her off near her apartment around 10:30 p.m. He said she seemed fine, calm, normal. But there was a problem. Traffic cameras never captured his vehicle entering Lily's neighborhood. Her phone stopped transmitting location data at 9:27 p.m., and cell tower pings placed her device near a wooded overlook outside the city, not near her apartment. When police questioned Aaron again, small details shifted. First, he said they drove straight downtown. Later, he admitted they took a scenic route. Then investigators discovered something chilling. Aaron Blake didn't exist. The name was tied to a recently created driver's license using synthetic identity fraud. The photo matched the man on the date, but the social security number belonged to a deceased child from the 1990s. The dating profile had been active for only 3 months. During that time, it had matched with 47 women. 12 agreed to meet him. 3 reported afterward that something felt off. One said he insisted on driving instead of walking. Another said he avoided areas with heavy cameras. And one remembered he asked strangely specific questions about whether she lived alone. Detectives traced the vehicle Lily entered that night to a rental booked with prepaid debit cards. The rental was returned 2 days later, professionally cleaned, no visible blood, no fingerprints, just a faint trace of soil embedded in the trunk carpeting, soil consistent with areas outside Asheville.
Search teams combed the wooded overlook where Lily's phone last pinged. Nothing. No clothing, no purse, no body. Then, 4 months later, hikers discovered Lily's handbag half buried under leaves nearly 40 miles away. Inside were her ID and keys. Her phone was missing. So was Lily. Digital forensics revealed the dating profile had logged in once more 2 weeks after her disappearance from a coffee shop Wi-Fi network in Knoxville, Tennessee. Security cameras showed a man in a baseball cap using a laptop for exactly 8 minutes. The footage was grainy, but the jawline, the posture, it matched Aaron. By the time police arrived, he was gone. The account was deleted permanently. To this day, Lily Anderson has never been found. Authorities believe the man behind the false identity may be responsible for other disappearances across state lines. He was patient. He built trust. He used synthetic identities, prepaid rentals.
6 months after Lily Anderson disappeared, the case stopped being local. It became federal. Detectives in North Carolina shared details of the synthetic identity with neighboring states. Within weeks, similar reports surfaced. A woman in Tennessee who'd gone on a date with a man named Daniel Cross. A teacher in Georgia who met someone calling himself Mark Jensen. A nurse in South Carolina who remembered a first date with Ryan Cole. Different names, different cities, same pattern. Minimal dating profile, no social media, quick transition from public place to private vehicle, insistence on driving, questions about living alone. And in 2 other states, women had also vanished after first dates in the previous 3 years. The FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit reviewed the case and formed a profile. The suspect was organized, highly mobile, comfortable operating across state lines, technologically competent enough to create layered synthetic identities, socially controlled, calm, capable of appearing charming and safe, not impulsive, calculated. Investigators began mapping rental car records tied to prepaid debit cards. Patterns emerged: short rentals, always mid-size sedans, always returned cleaned, always within 48 hours. Then came the first real break. A storage facility outside Chattanooga flagged an unpaid unit rented under yet another alias. When law enforcement opened it, they found nothing overtly violent, just ordinary items: camping equipment, shovels, plastic sheeting, a laptop. The laptop had been wiped, but not perfectly. Digital forensic analysts recovered fragments of encrypted files. Inside were spreadsheets listing cities, dates, and initials. Next to some initials were check marks. Next to others, question marks. LA, MR, SK. Investigators believe LA stood for Lily Anderson. The most chilling discovery came from browser artifacts, satellite map searches of remote wooded areas, riverbanks, and abandoned industrial zones, all within a 3-hour drive radius of each disappearance. This wasn't random, it was logistical planning. The suspect appeared to scout disposal sites before even scheduling dates. Authorities also discovered something else. The man often changed hair color slightly between states, grew or shaved facial hair, altered posture in profile photos. Subtle transformations, enough to avoid pattern recognition, but not enough to change his core features. He understood visibility. He understood cameras. He understood human psychology. But he made one mistake. In Knoxville, during that brief 8-minute login at the coffee shop, he used the restroom before leaving. Security footage captured him washing his hands, and when he exited, he threw away a paper towel. For months, investigators tried to retrieve usable DNA from the trash system. It had already been processed. Gone.
Then, in late 2019, a genealogical database match flagged a distant relative connected to partial DNA recovered from soil embedded in the rental car trunk from Lily's case. It was weak, but it was enough to narrow a family tree. Detectives identified a man named Aaron Whitmore, real name, no aliases, 34 years old, previously employed in short-term IT contracts across multiple southeastern states. He had a history of moving frequently, no long-term relationships, no criminal record, no social media presence. When authorities went to question him at his last known address in Birmingham, Alabama, the apartment was empty, recently vacated, cleaned, lease broken 2 weeks earlier. Neighbors said he was quiet, polite, kept to himself. One neighbor mentioned he often left late at night with camping gear in his trunk. Aaron Whitmore has not been located. Authorities believe he may still be using synthetic identities and dating platforms under new names. The FBI continues to monitor similar disappearances tied to first dates across state lines. And Lily Anderson's case remains officially unsolved. But investigators are confident of one thing. The man she met that August night was not improvising. He had done this before. He had rehearsed. And somewhere, under a new name, with a slightly different haircut, he may still be introducing himself to someone new. Smiling, offering to drive, asking if she lives alone.